Roman Reigns reacts after winning 2 matches in his return to WWE RAW. Keith Lee gets a new name change after changing up his look. And Big E pays tribute to a deceased former WWE Superstar on Monday Night Raw. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. To stay up to date with all of our content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bobby Lashley warns Roman Reigns and Big E following his loss on Raw. Bobby Lashley took to Twitter to express frustration following his loss in the Triple Threat main event on Monday Night Raw. The former WWE Champion was in a foul mood and vowed that he is not done with either of the two champions. The match was set up as a result of Lashley's interference in the 6-man tag team match that took place earlier in the night between the New Day and the Bloodline. The Almighty took out Big E, Kofi, and the Usos in the closing moments of the match. That distracted Xavier Woods, who ran into a spear from the Tribal Chief. After Reigns picked up the win, he was taken out by a spear from Lashley. Following demands from Lashley and Big E, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville made the Triple Threat main event official. The head of the table secured his second win of the night when he pinned the former WWE Champion after a spear. Last week on Raw, Lashley lost his WWE Championship to Big E following a hard-fought battle against Randy Orton. He was also defeated by Reigns in a recent live event. Although it has not been yet made official, we can expect the Almighty will receive a rematch for the WWE title at Extreme Rules, as Big E doesn't have an opponent yet. He had also secured the #1 contendership for the Raw Tag Team Championship, but due to MVP's injury, the match has currently taken a back seat. If a match between the current and former WWE Champion takes place at the pay-per-view, it is unlikely the title will switch hands anytime soon. With the draft around the corner, it's possible that Lashley might enter into a feud with the Universal Champion. There's also the threat of Goldberg looming over him. There are many possibilities at this point, and it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Keith Lee gets a new name change after changing up his look. Ahead of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, he competed in a dark match and was announced as Keith Bearcat Lee. It is not yet known whether this is a permanent name change or something the company is just trying out. Many fans have theorized that the name change could have been an inspiration from WWE Hall of Famer Edward Wright, who wrestled as Bearcat Wright. Lee hasn't wrestled on the Red brand for over a month now. However, he continues to wrestle dark matches before Raw and SmackDown, where he has been squashing his opponents. At the latest WWE Super Show at the North Charleston Coliseum, Keith Lee was seen bringing back his old look with a beard. He had this look during his highly successful run back on NXT. However, upon moving to Raw, Lee changed his look and shaved his face clean. Fans were not happy with the new look and would be glad to see him bring his old look back. It was reported last month that WWE Chairman Vince McMahon is considering giving Keith Lee a character change and turning him into a monster heel. The former NXT champion continues to get a babyface reaction from fans in attendance thanks to his massive popularity. However, his run as a face on the main roster hasn't been that great, and a character change might actually help him out a lot. Lee bringing back his old look and now getting a new name are all signs pointing towards the same. However, we will see the Limitless One on WWE TV soon. Roman Reigns reacts after winning 2 matches in his return to Raw. Universal Champion Roman Reigns made his way to Monday Night Raw and he won 2 matches on last night's episode. He took to Twitter to react to these victories by sending a simple message to the WWE Universe. Around 2 years after his previous Raw appearance, Reigns returned to the Red brand for a 6-man tag team match against the New Day. Alongside the Usos, Reigns' team emerged victorious thanks to Bobby Lashley's interference. In the main event on Monday night, the Tribal Chief took on Lashley and WWE Champion Big E in a triple threat match. He won this second bout by pinning the Almighty with a powerful spear. With a pair of major wins, the head of the table has cemented his place as the dominant force across both brands in WWE. After Raw, he told the WWE Universe to acknowledge him. It's hard to argue against acknowledging Reigns' greatness following his incredible performances on Monday as the Universal Champion won 2 huge matches in one night. Moving forward, he has the upper hand over Big E, with the 2 stars tentatively scheduled to clash in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series. In another tweet, Reigns briefly bragged about his successful night when a fan pointed out his remarkable outing on the Red brand. Roman Reigns' hands are now full right now, with his next 3 pay-per-views already booked. If he aims to keep the Universal Championship and face Big E at Survivor Series, the Tribal Chief has to overcome at least 2 tough challengers. First, Reigns is set to defend his title against the Demon Finn Balor at Extreme Rules. The bout has now been made an Extreme Rules match, with the broadcast team confirming this development during Raw. Whatever happens on Sunday, Roman Reigns will then take on Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. The match is currently scheduled as a title bout, with the Universal Championship set to be up for grabs if the head of the table can defeat the Demon. Ric Flair breaks silence after plane ride from hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Flair has broken his silence over the controversial plane ride from hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring aired last week. The Nature Boy was at the center of controversy after the latest episode of the Dark Side of the Ring came out last Thursday, covering the infamous plane ride from hell. Detailed accounts of the flight from an attendant on the plane accused Flair of sexual assault. On Monday evening, Ric Flair would break his silence with the following tweet. Quote, "Every person that I've worked with has said not to post a response, but I've never run from past behaviors before, and I'm not going to start now. I want to clarify a few things. About 4 years ago, I gave ESPN full access to my life for a 30 for 30 special. They cover taxes, financial issues, adultery, divorces, the passing of my child, and drinking partying at length. Rory Karp, desperate to matter for another 15 minutes, did an interview about it this morning. When Rory's lips are moving, he's typically lying. But one part of what he said of the God's honest truth, saying, quote, I've never heard that he had forced someone to touch his genitals. Everything with Rick that was construed as negative, I tried to address in the 30 for 30. His drinking, his philandering, his adultery, his money problems, there's quite a bit, but never at the least in the people that I spoke to, no one ever brought up that he would force himself on somebody. I allowed my personal life and the lives of my wife and children to be turned upside down for one reason. Whether it's good or bad, even the really bad, the truth has to matter, even in wrestling. My issues have been well documented over my 40-plus year career. The impact of drinking too much, which nearly killed me 5 years ago, has been told time and time again. The reason Rory, or anyone else for that matter, never heard stories of me forcing myself on anyone is simple. It never happened." End quote. A day after the plane ride from hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring aired, one of Ric Flair's major sponsors, CarShield, announced that they had suspended the popular ad campaign. In last week's edition of Smack Talk via Sportskeeda social media channels, Dutch Mantel mentioned how Ric Flair has done this for years and how it is disrespectful to the people you're working with. It was widely rumored that Ric Flair would join AEW as Andrade El Idolo's manager. However, recent reports indicate that it would land the company in hot water and Tony Khan may not sign the Nature Boy. Big E pays tribute to deceased former WWE Superstar on Raw. Big E kicked off WWE RAW this week alongside his New Day brothers Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for his WWE Championship celebration and delivered a heartwarming reference to a beloved star. During Big E's championship speech, he paid tribute to a good friend in the late, great Brody Lee, formerly known as WWE Superstar Luke Harper. The powerhouse of positivity expressed his gratitude for having a friend as incredible as Lee, saying, quote, I am grateful for all of you below heaven and one incredible friend above, end quote. The WWE Universe subsequently started chanting Lee's name in a beautiful moment. This emotional moment didn't last long as Roman Reigns' music hit and the Bloodline entered the arena for a stare-down with the New Day prior to their 6-man tag match. That tag match would be marred by the interference of Bobby Lashley, who literally destroyed everyone in the match. Just days after the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee, Big E publicly shared a story about how Brody helped him when the New Day star was struggling with his career. Big E and Brody Lee had several magical moments in the WWE when the New Day feuded with the Wyatt family. The two friends later worked together when Lee and Eric Rowan battled the New Day as the Bludgeon Brothers. The Big E's reference to Lee made his championship celebration even more emotional, as it reminded everyone about Lee and his contributions to the wrestling world. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories and exclusive content, be sure you follow us on all social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.